The sky was burning. Dark red clouds moved fast across the sky. Lightning cracked the air, and the ground shook under everyone's feet. Buildings fell one by one. Fires spread everywhere. The war was ending, but not with peace. It was ending. With fire, dust, and death. Captain Raynor stood near his dropship. His face was tired, dirty, and full of scars. He had been fighting for months. He had lost too many friends. Now the order was clear. Get off the planet. Mission over. Everyone out. Raynor looked around. There were no more enemy soldiers. Only broken streets and the loud sound of explosions in the distance. His boots stepped over ash and glass. As he walked back to his ship. Suddenly, he heard something. A voice. Weak, almost lost in the wind. Help. Me. He stopped, turned around slowly. A few feet away, half covered in dust and blood, was a girl. Not human. She had large, dark eyes. Her skin was pale blue, and she was shaking. Her clothes were torn, and she had a deep cut on her leg. She looked up at him, not with hate, not with anger, but with something else. Fear, pain, hope. Please, she whispered, take me with you, or leave me to die. Raynor's hand moved to his gun. His training kicked in. She was the enemy. Her species had fought against humans. They had caused the death of many soldiers. They were not to be trusted. But then he didn't pull the trigger. He just stood there, looking at her. The world around them was falling apart, but in that moment, time slowed. She didn't move. She didn't try to attack. She just looked at him with wide eyes and tears on her face. Raynor remembered his daughter. Back on Earth, she had the same eyes. The same look when she was scared. He looked up at the sky. The last human ships were leaving. If he waited any longer, he would miss his ride. But if he left this girl here, she would die in minutes. Raynor sighed. He stepped forward. Can you walk? He asked. She shook her head. He knelt down, picked her up carefully, and started running. Toward his ship. Command, he spoke into his radio. I have one wounded requesting pickup. Is it human? A voice replied. Raynor didn't answer. Captain, is it human? The voice repeated, louder. Raynor turned off the radio. Inside the dropship, the engine started. Lights blinked red. The countdown began. Raynor placed the girl gently on a seat and strapped her in. Another soldier looked at her, and then at Raynor. What is that? The soldier said. She's not a threat, Raynor said quickly. You brought an alien into a human ship? Are you out of your mind? Raynor didn't speak. He just stared ahead as the ship lifted off. Outside, the planet cracked. Huge parts of land broke apart. Fire swallowed cities. The alien homeworld was gone, forever, but one of them was still alive. Because a human chose not to leave her. Back on the ship, alarms started to beep. Unauthorized life form detected, the system voice said. Report to command. The girl opened her eyes. She looked at Raynor, confused. Why did you help me? He didn't answer right away. After a long pause, he said quietly, because no one deserves to die alone. She tried to sit up, but winced in pain. I'm Rena, she said. Raynor nodded. Raynor. She looked at him with something close to a smile. But before anything more could be said, the ship jolted. A voice came from the radio. Captain. Raynor, report immediately. We detected a foreign life form on board. This is a breach of protocol. Raynor looked down at Rena. She looked back scared again. Don't let them send me back, she whispered. Raynor stood up slowly and walked to the comms panel. Command, he said calmly. It's a child. She was left to die. I made a call. Silence on the other end. Then, bring her in. You'll be questioned. Raynor turned around. Rena was watching him. She knew what was coming. Humans didn't forgive easily. And they didn't trust her kind. Raynor sat beside her. Whatever happens, he said, I won't let them hurt you. She blinked. Why? Raynor gave a tired smile. Because you asked for help, and I still believe humans answer that. Call. The ship flew into the dark sky, carrying one human and one alien. Two enemies, now bound by a choice. The war was over, but their story had just begun. Asterisk. The silence inside the human warship was louder than any scream. Rena sat alone in the filet and salon. Dark corner of the cargo bay. Cold metal walls surrounded her. Her skin was still covered in dust. Her leg hurt. Her heart was beating too fast that she was not supposed to be here, that she was the enemy. And every human on this ship knew it. Captain Raynor had hidden her here after the landing. He had lied to the crew, said he came back alone. No one believed him, but no one had proof. Not yet. Above her, pipes hissed and lights flickered. Every sound made her jump. What if someone found her? What if they shot her on sight? She didn't know human rules, but she knew fear. She had lived with it her whole life. Footsteps. She froze. Boots echoed on the metal floor. Getting closer, Rena held her breath. The door opened slowly, and Captain Raynor stepped in. His eyes scanned the room, then softened when he saw her. He walked over and gave her a small packet of food. Eat, he said quietly. You need your strength. She took it, her hands shaking. How long do I stay here? Raynor looked around. Not long. I'll figure something out. Rena stared at him. Why are you helping me? They'll punish you. Raynor sat down beside her, sighing. Maybe. But if we start deciding who deserves to live based on the past, then we're no better than the people we fight. Rena didn't fully understand his words, but she felt the warmth in his voice. She ate in silence, then whispered, They will kill me, won't they? Raynor didn't answer. Up on the command deck, tension was building. Sir, a crew officer said. Security scanners picked up something odd in the lower bay. A small heat signature, not human. The commander narrowed his eyes. Do a sweep. If someone brought an alien on board, they're risking all our lives. Back in the cargo bay, Raynor stood up. His wrist device beeped. Alert. Crew approaching. Section 7. They're coming, he said. You have to hide. Rena looked around. There was nowhere safe. No room, no door. Only crates. Raynor opened one. Get in here. Don't make a sound. She climbed in, biting her lip in fear. The crate closed. Darkness surrounded her again. Footsteps came. Heavy. Fast. The cargo door slammed open. Raynor stood alone. Captain, a guard said, What are you doing here? Checking supplies, Raynor replied calmly. The guard stepped forward. His eyes scanned the room, then paused. He looked at the crate. Open that one, he ordered. Raynor's heart raced. Why? It's warm. Something's inside. Raynor laughed lightly. That's just emergency fuel cells. They heat up sometimes. The guard hesitated, then reached for the lid. Before he could open it, the lights above flickered and the ship rocked. Boom. Everyone stumbled. Report, the radio shouted. Sir, unknown signal just hit our radar. We're under threat. The guards ran out. Raynor exhaled. He opened the crate. Rena was curled up, shaking. She looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. They almost found me. Raynor nodded. It's getting harder to protect you. I don't want you to get hurt because of me. Raynor looked at her seriously. Then help me. She blinked. How? You said before you know something about the enemy. If I can prove you're useful, maybe they'll let you live. Rena hesitated, then slowly nodded. There's something I never told anyone, she whispered. The enemy has a weapon, hidden, not here. Far away, but ready to strike. It can destroy a whole planet. Raynor stared at her. You're sure? Yes, I saw the plans. I was supposed to help them build it. Raynor stood up straight. We need to get that information to command. No, she said quickly. They won't listen. They'll kill me before I finish speaking. Raynor clenched his jaw. Then we'll do it another way. Hours later, as the ship moved through deep space, a secret message was sent from Raynor's console. It didn't go to his commander. It went to someone else. Someone he trusted. A single line: I have an alien defector. She knows about a planet killer. I'm bringing her in. Don't let them shoot her. Elsewhere on the ship, another soldier opened a locked panel. Inside, hidden behind wires, was a small listening device. It blinked red. The soldier picked up his cum. She's on board, he said. Tell command, or should I kill her myself? Asterisk, the knife was already in his hand. The soldier moved quietly through the sleeping ship. Lights were low. Most of the crew were resting. Only the engines hummed in the background. He didn't wear boots. He didn't need them. He had done this before. His mission was simple. Find the alien girl. Kill her. Leave no trace. Far below in the cargo bay, Rena couldn't sleep. Her body was tired, but her mind raced. She missed her world. Even if it was broken, even if it was lost. She missed the trees that glowed at night. The sound of wind across the sky domes. The way her brother laughed when he tried to sing. She didn't cry. She had already cried too much. Now, she just stared at the ceiling. Suddenly, she heard something. A small noise, soft, a footstep, not Raynor's. Her eyes went wide. She sat up. Another sound. Closer this time. She crawled behind some crates and held her breath. Then she saw him, a tall human soldier. Face cold, eyes empty. Moving like a shadow. He pulled out a blade. Rena's heart nearly stopped. At the same moment, Captain Raynor was speaking with his contact on a secure call. Her name is Rena, he said softly. She's just a girl. But she knows something big, something dangerous. The voice on the other end paused. Then replied, You trust her? I don't know, Raynor answered. But I believe her. Then protect her, the voice said. We'll send a clean ship to take you both. 2 hours. Until then, stay hidden. The call ended. Raynor stood up. He had a bad feeling. He ran. In the cargo bay, the soldier stepped around crates slowly. He was quiet, careful. He listened. A breath. There. He turned sharply. Rena ran. She didn't scream. She just moved fast and silent. She had learned to survive. The soldier chased her. Blade ready. She slipped between 2 containers. Ducking. Hiding. He followed. She picked up a small pipe from the floor. Not strong enough to stop him, but it was all she had. He stepped forward. She swung. The pipe hit his arm. He dropped the knife. She ran again, but he caught her wrist. Pulled her hard. You don't belong here, he hissed. I never asked to. Be here, she shouted back. He raised his fist. Bang. A shot fired. The soldier fell to the floor. Raynor stood at the door, gun shaking in his hand. Rena was on the floor, breathing hard. Raynor rushed over. You okay? She nodded slowly. Raynor looked at the soldier. Alive but unconscious. I knew this would happen, Rena said. They want me dead. Raynor stared at her. Why? What are they so afraid of? She looked at him, serious now, her voice low. Because I know what's coming. In the medical room, Raynor tied the soldier to a chair. He injected a small dose to wake him. The man's eyes opened slowly. Who sent you? Raynor asked. The soldier smirked. You think command doesn't know what you've done? Raynor's jaw tightened. She's just a girl. She's not one of us, the soldier growled. She's a mistake. That thing's blood is poison. Raynor leaned closer. Then why are you so afraid of her? Silence. Raynor nodded slowly. I'll take that as my answer. He turned to Rena. Tell me what you know, everything. Rena sat down, her hands shaking. My people were not the ones who started the war, she began. We were forced, controlled. Another species, the Voreks, they control minds, they used us. Raynor frowned. Why haven't we heard of them? Because they hide, she said. They don't fight in front. They use others. And now, they've built a weapon. Big enough to erase a planet. Raynor stared. Where? She pulled out a small chip from her bracelet. I took this before I escaped. It has coordinates, power levels, weak points. Raynor took it, plugged it into his pad. His screen lit up. The data was real. His hands went cold. You're telling the truth. Rena nodded. I wanted to run, she said. But I knew if I didn't tell someone, Earth would be next. Raynor stood still for a moment. Then he picked up his radio. This is Captain Raynor. I need emergency extraction. I'm carrying vital intel. Repeat. I have proof of a Voreks planet killer. And a witness. He paused. And if you try to shoot her, you'll have to shoot me first. Outside the ship, hidden deep in a nebula cloud, a massive alien vessel blinked to life. It had no windows, no sound, no lights. Just a signal, a quiet pulse. Target, Earth, countdown, 72 hours. Asterisk, the lights went out, not flickered, not dimmed. They died all at once. The ship fell into black silence. Raynor grabbed his gun. Rena stopped breathing. Then came the voice. Cold, robotic, security lockdown initiated. Unauthorized life form detected. 10 minutes earlier, Raynor had sent the data to his contact. The chip Rena gave him was real. The coordinates showed a hidden Voreks base, a planet killer, weapon aimed at Earth. They had to get out. Fast. But someone had intercepted the signal. Someone on the ship. Now. Emergency red lights flashed dimly in the halls. Metal doors slammed shut. Alarms echoed. Rena pressed herself against the wall. They know, she whispered. They're coming for us. Raynor checked his wristpad. Autolocks are spreading. They're trying to trap us. He looked at her. We can't wait anymore. We run now or we never leave. In the upper decks, the commanding officer stood with a grim face. Shut down all launch systems, he ordered. Raynor has gone rogue. A soldier nearby asked, Sir, what if he's telling the truth about the Voreks? The commander's eyes narrowed. That alien girl is lying. Raynor's compromised. He turned to the screen. Seal all exits. If they try to escape, shoot them down. Raynor led Rena through the ship's lower halls. Steam leaked from broken pipes. The lights above flickered again. They moved quickly, ducking around corners, avoiding cameras. I have a backup ship, Raynor said. Old scout vessel. Hidden near Bay 12, not on their main system. How far can it go? Rena asked. Far enough to reach a comm station. Then we send the full data to Earth Command. They turned the next corner and stopped. 2 guards stood ahead. Guns ready. Raynor stepped in front of Rena. Don't do this, he said. We have the truth. One of the guards hesitated. Turn yourself in, Raynor. This doesn't have to be. Raynor fired first. 1 guard fell. The other ducked, returning fire. Rena grabbed a metal plate from the ground and threw it at the second guard. Hard. It hit his arm. He dropped his weapon. Raynor rushed him, knocked him out. Silence returned. Rena stood still, shocked at what she'd just done. Raynor looked at her. You saved me. She nodded, breathing fast. I didn't want to. It just happened. You're learning, he said with a grim smile. That's good. Because it's going to get worse. They reached the maintenance shaft. Raynor opened the door. A narrow tunnel led upward. We crawl through this. Then we're 2 levels from the hangar. Rena looked up. Tight fit. You'll manage. I've seen you hide in smaller places. They crawled. Metal walls echoed every movement. Rena's breathing was loud. Her legs still hurt, but she didn't complain. Halfway through, they heard it. Clang. Clang. Boots. Heavy. Coming fast. They found the shaft. Raynor whispered. Faster! They reached the top, kicked open the grate, and dropped into a dark storage room, but it was no longer quiet. A new voice filled the air. Attention! Captain Raynor is now marked as hostile. Shoot on sight. The alien is too. Be killed immediately. Rena froze. They really want me dead, she said. Raynor's voice was low and cold. Double quotes. No, they're afraid of the truth. In the hangar, a small half-broken scout ship sat in the shadows. Raynor led her toward it, ducking behind crates. Once we launch, they'll try to follow, he said. But if we hit warp fast enough, we'll make it. Rena looked at the ship. It's single quotes S.old. Raynor smirked. So am I. They climbed in. He started the engines. Lights blinked. Systems came online. Outside the bay, soldiers were gathering. Too many. Doors won't open without command clearance, Rena said. Raynor glanced at her. They don't need to. He flipped a red switch, explosives he had planted days ago on the outer wall, just in case, lit up. Boom. The blast rocked the hangar. Metal flew. Air rushed out. The scout ship launched into the vacuum through the opening. They were free, but not safe. Inside the small ship, Raynor set coordinates. We're heading for Outpost 9. They have a long-range comm system. Rena sat beside him. Behind them, 2 military ships were already chasing. They're coming, she said. Raynor nodded. Let them. Inside the enemy ship, the Varex watched the escape on stolen feeds. A deep voice rumbled in the dark. Let them run. Let them scream the truth. It won't matter. In 70 hours, Earth will fall. Asterisk, there was no warning. No alarm, no sound. Just the lights clicking off one by one. Like someone was slowly turning off the stars, Rena opened her eyes inside the storage crate. Darkness, silence, stillness. Then, from somewhere above, a soft voice whispered, She's awake. Move now. Captain Raynor was 2 floors up, looking at a screen that suddenly went black. No connection, he muttered. They've cut internal power, manual only. He tapped his wrist device. Dead 2. Then he understood. This wasn't a system error. Someone had shut everything down on purpose. His eyes narrowed. He grabbed his weapon and ran for the lower bay. Rena was already moving. She didn't know where to go. She didn't know who was coming. But she could feel it. Someone was in the cargo bay, watching. She slipped out of the crate and crouched behind tall storage barrels. Her heart pounded in her chest like a drum. Her leg still hurt, but she ignored it. She moved slow, quiet, but the voice came again. Closer this time. It's not personal, girl. But you're not making it off this ship. A beam of light flashed across the room. A scanning light. She ducked. Too late. The figure fired. The laser hit the barrel beside her, making it explode. In sparks, she screamed and rolled behind another crate. He was hunting her. Like an animal, Raynor reached the lower level. Smoke from the explosion drifted up the stairs. He heard the shot. He didn't wait. He jumped the last steps, charged through the door, and fired at the shadow figure chasing her. The man fell. Not dead but wounded. Raynor ran to Rena. You all right? She nodded. They shut everything down. I know, it's a trap. They don't want the truth to get out, she said. No, Raynor said, gripping her arm and pulling her up. They want us dead before it does. They ran through the dark corridors, lit only by flickering red emergency lights. Footsteps echoed behind them. Voices. Guns. Raynor checked his pad, still offline. We're blind, he muttered. We'll have to go old school. He stopped. In front of a locked door. Storage room 11. He smiled. This room's off the books. I used it back in the First War. Hidden escape tunnel leads straight to Bay 9. He kicked in the access panel and pulled down a small metal ladder. Ladies first, he said. Rena climbed down into the narrow tunnel. It smelled like oil and dust. She held the sides and slid downward. Raynor followed, sealing the hatch above. The tunnel was dark, cold, but it led to freedom. Above them, the ship's commander watched from a screen. We lost them in Sector 3. The tech officer said. Then lock down the hangars, the commander replied. They can't launch if we control the airlocks. Sir, if they escape and the Varex weapon is real, I don't care. That creature is lying. And Raynor made his choice. Bay 9 was empty. Quiet. Dusty. Perfect. Raynor lifted the tarp off an old scout ship, rusted, patched, forgotten. She still flies? Rena asked. Barely, but she's fast. He opened the hatch. Let's go. They climbed in. Raynor tapped the startup key. Nothing. He groaned. Of course. Then he smiled, reached under the seat, and flipped a hidden switch. The engine coughed, then roared to life. Rena's face lit up. Where did you learn that? I built this ship from spare parts. She only listens to me. Outside, more footsteps. Guards. They had seconds. Raynor pointed at the co-pilot seat. Hold tight. The hangar doors were still shut. Raynor didn't care. He flew the ship straight at them. Are you crazy? Rena shouted. Double quotes. Yes, Raynor said. But only when it works. He pressed a button. Boom. Charges hidden under the floor blew the lower gate apart. He had planted them years ago. Just in case. The scout ship shot forward, burst through the debris, and flew into space fast, wild, free. But behind them, 2 patrol ships gave chase. Enemy craft detected, the eye warned. Weapons armed. Raynor pushed the engines harder. They're faster than us, Rena said. We don't have to outrun them, Raynor replied. Just survive long enough. He opened a secret comm channel. This is Captain Raynor. We have critical intel on the Varex. Requesting pickup at Beacon 6. Static. Then, received. 1 ship inbound, ETA, 14 minutes. Hold tight. Rena looked out the window. Stars stretched forever, but so did the danger behind them. They're still coming, she said. Raynor nodded. Let them. Inside a dark corner of the galaxy, the Varex warship stirred. A cold voice echoed from its black chamber. Let the humans run. Let them warn their world. By the time Earth listens, we will already be there. Asterisk. The stars looked peaceful, but peace was a lie. Rena watched through the window of this small ship. Millions of stars burned like tiny fireflies in the black sky. It looked beautiful, calm, but somewhere in that silence, the Varex weapon was charging. And Earth had no idea it was coming. She touched the cold glass with her fingers. Please, she whispered, believe us before it's too late. Captain Raynor sat beside her in the cockpit, tired but focused. Beacon 6 was close. Just a small communication station floating in space. Forgotten by most. But for them, it was the only hope left. Their ship shook slightly as they docked. Raynor turned to Rena. Once we send the message, we'll have enemies on both sides. She nodded. We already do. He gave a dry smile. Good point. The station was empty. Old tech. Dusty walls. Long dead screens slowly blinked to life as Raynor powered up the main console. Rena stood beside him, holding the data chip. This has everything, she said. The Varex base location, their weapon specs, timers, launch direction. Raynor inserted the chip. His fingers flew over the keys, sending encrypted file to Earth Command. A bar filled slowly. Rena stared at the screen. Do you think they'll believe it? Raynor didn't answer. Not yet. Back on Earth, a dark room filled with military leaders stared at the incoming signal. Where did this come from? One asked. A dead relay station, another replied. It's Raynor's code. Who's the alien girl with him? Enemy? No. She's the one sending the data. They played her message. Her voice came through shaky but clear. My name is Rena. I am not your enemy. My people were used, controlled, And now the real enemy, the Vorrex, has built a weapon. They will fire it at Earth. You have less than 48 hours. The room fell silent. Then the general stood. Find them. And bring them in. Back at Beacon 6, Raynor's screen blinked. Message received. Under review. Stand by, then new order. Arrest Captain Raynor. Seize the alien. Use force if necessary. Raynor read it once. Twice. He didn't react. He just slowly turned off the screen. We did it. Rena said. Raynor looked at her. We did. He didn't tell her the rest. An hour passed. They waited. Watched the radar. Nothing came. No help. No answers. Then a red alert. Incoming vessel. High speed. No ID. Rena leaned forward. Friend? Raynor checked the code. His face turned pale. No, not ours. Vorrex. The ship hit the station hard. A loud crash. The power flickered. Alarms screamed. Rena fell to the floor. Raynor pulled her. Up. We have to go. Now they ran down the hall. The walls shook again. The Vorrex had found them, outside the station. The Vorrex boarding ship latched on. Inside, black armored figures moved like shadows, fast and silent. One of them, taller than the rest, held a glowing staff. His eyes were glassy. Inhuman. He whispered in his strange tongue. Find the girl. Kill the human. Erase the message. Raynor and Rena reached the emergency hangar. Raynor's scout ship was still docked, lights flashing. One engine damaged from the crash. Will it fly? Rena asked. It'll try, Raynor replied. They climbed in. The ship powered up, shaking badly. Just as they lifted off, a Vorrex trooper appeared at the window aiming a plasma rifle. Raynor turned the ship sharply. The shot missed. Another hit. Sparks flew. The ship jerked upward, spinning into space. They were out. But barely. Inside the ship, Rena sat on the floor, holding her arm. She was bleeding. Raynor knelt down beside her. You're okay. Just a graze. They followed us. Why now? Raynor looked out the window. Because we hit a nerve. They know we told the truth. He stood. But it doesn't matter what we've sent. What do you mean? He looked at her with tired eyes. They don't believe you. Earth Command thinks I've been turned. Rena's face dropped. Then what do we do? Raynor stared into the dark. We stop waiting. He typed fast on the control screen. A new destination. Rena leaned in. You're going to the Vorrex base? Raynor nodded. We destroy the weapon ourselves, even if no one comes. Rena's hands shook. That's a suicide mission. Raynor looked at her. So is bringing you on my ship. But I'd do it again. Far behind them, the Vorrex ship turned, heading back toward the weapon site. And deep in Earth's command tower, a young tech officer ran into the war room. Sir, we decoded the message. She's telling the truth. Everyone stood in silence. The general turned. Recall the arrest order. Find them, and pray we're not too late. Asterisk. The human heart has no weapon, but when it breaks, it fights harder than steel. Raynor's ship came out of warp too fast. The hull screamed. Warning lights flashed red. Rena held onto the side panel, barely able to breathe. And then, they saw it, floating in the dark. The Vorrex super weapon, not a station. Not a ship. A moon, rebuilt into a machine. Glowing rings circled its surface. Dark towers rose like fangs. At its center, a pulse, bright and slow. Charging. Raynor checked the timer. 28 hours. That's all. Earthhead, he looked at Rena. You ready? No, she said honestly. Then she stood anyway. Let's do it. They flew toward the weapon in stealth mode. Hidden. Silent. On board. Rena activated the chip again. This section here, she said, pointing, controls the power core. If we hit that, the weapon dies. Raynor stared at the spot. Then, that's where we land. Inside the Vorrex weapon, alarm sounded. Human vessel detected. 2 life forms. One is the traitor. The Varrics commander hissed. Send the shadows. No survivors. Raynor's ship slammed into the outer shell of the moon weapon. Smoke. Sparks. They crashed hard. Both of them stumbled out. Coughing, limping. Raynor looked around. Black metal everywhere. No sky, no light. Just a strange humming sound like something alive beneath their feet. Where now? He asked. Rena closed her eyes. She listened, then pointed. That way. They ran. Past dead hallways, past alien machines. The place felt wrong, cold, but breathing. Suddenly a blast hit the wall beside them. Varric soldiers dropped from the ceiling. Raynor fired. Rena ducked and grabbed a broken rod. She swung wildly, catching one enemy in the side. Raynor tossed her a blaster. Aim low. Their armor's weak there. She fired. Hit. They fell. They kept moving. Back on Earth, the generals watched the data stream from Beacon 6. We just received coordinates, the young tech said. Captain Raynor sent it. He's at the weapon site now. The general looked at the map. We can't get there in time. But we can send him backup, someone said. The room went quiet. Then the general gave a nod. Dispatch drone fleet 47, now. Raynor and Rena reached the power core gate. One problem. A Varric warden stood guard. Tall, silent. Armor like bone. Eyes glowing blue. He stepped forward. You should not have come. Raynor raised his weapon. You shouldn't have built this thing. The warden moved fast. Raynor was thrown against the wall. Rena screamed, firing the blaster. It bounced off the warden's chest. He turned toward her. Then suddenly, boom. Missiles rained down. A hole ripped open in the ceiling. Earth drones arrived. Raynor coughed, pulling himself up. Looks like someone back home finally believed us. The warden rose again, half his armor gone. Rena ran forward, slamming the chip into the control terminal. Lights exploded. Sirens blared. Power core breach. Detonation imminent. Raynor grabbed her. We need to go now. They ran back to their crashed ship, but the engines were dead. No chance of flying out. Raynor looked around. Escape pods? Too far, Rena said. Raynor smiled sadly. Then we do the one thing humans are good at. What's that? He pulled her behind a wall as fire rushed through the corridor, refusing to die quietly. Above the Varric moon weapon, the Earth fleet finally arrived. Ships broke through enemy lines. Fighters rained down. Too late to stop the explosion, but not too late to see it. A blinding flash. A silent scream. The moon weapon broke apart. Rings collapsed. Towers fell. And then silence. Later, Raynor woke up to a white ceiling. Hospital. Lights, clean air. He blinked. A familiar face leaned over him. Rena. She was bandaged, bruised, but smiling. You lived, she said softly. So did you, he replied. They sat in silence. Then Rena whispered, you could have left me, back on my planet. In that war, why didn't you? Raynor looked at her for a long time. Because you asked me to take you, he said. And I did. 6 months later, Rena stood before the Earth Council. No chains. No guards. Just respect. She held a medal in her hand. Raynor stood beside her. The council leader spoke. You risked everything to save a world that wasn't yours. Why? Rena looked up. Because it became mine. The moment one human chose to save me, HFY, humans were feared, hated, respected. But in the end, it was their heart that changed the galaxy.